grilled oyster, brown butter, horseradish, but you don't know what that means.
Captain's Pod, Stardate 724223.1. Welcome aboard the Starship's Enterprise, and thank you for joining us as we take a brief shore leave from the world of CinemaSins to explore the universe of Star Trek. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington, and with me as always, she makes sure that the lips on the view screen match what the Universal Translator is saying. It's Ambassador Deneé.
Yes, that's what I do.
I can't believe it's taken me that long to make that reference, because it's one of the biggest things that's always bugged me about the Universal Translator is that, okay, cool, it translates what's being said, but how does it make the lips match up to the English words as well?
Well, have you been paying attention to AI?
Oh, shit.
And deepfake?
You're right. We can basically... But can you do that in the moment? Like,
of course.
This is the future. Years from now, you can. Yeah, I bet you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we live in a terrifying time.
Oh, my goodness, that could happen. The ones with the... Anyway, we're not going to go down that road. It's fucking terrifying.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
we know
everybody.
Famous people are listening to our show today. So thank you for being here and
hello,
listening
Terry.
to our podcast. Hello. No pressure.
Terry M.
We're not going to change what we do. We might just fumble a little more as we are starstruck.
On the fact that Terry Matalis liked a tweet that we were mentioned in. Not one of our tweets.
Nope.
A tweet that season 3 of Picard was tagged in. And we were also tagged in.
Maybe.
So, thank you.
Hey, listen, there's more famous
Terry.
people listening we don't even know about.
Statistically, there is probably one famous person that listens to the show regularly, judging by our numbers, I would say.
Which should encourage all of the non-famous people like ourselves, because we outnumber them.
Yes, exactly. And remember, you are worth just as much as a famous person, if not slightly more. I don't know what that means.
They all look down and see they're in a red shirt. They're like, sure.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Right, well, this week we are going into Season 3, Episode 2 of Picard, Disengage. You knew the title.
Well, it's up on my screen.
I put it up on the screen. Shit.
Oh, yeah, it's on that screen too. Sure.
Last week, we embark on a new adventure after Picard gets a distress call from Beverly. They kidnap a ship, kind of, with Seven's help, much to the chagrin of our lovely new Captain Shaw. An entire Starfleet building of some sort is now thinking with portals permanently, and we are left with the Titan nose to nose. No, it's the Ilios. The Ilios was the name of the ship. Or Ilios? God damn it, I looked this up.
Ilios sounds right.
Ilios sounds right. Anyway, that ship is now nose to nose with the new alien vessel.
The spider vessel.
Ambassador, after an excellent opening episode. What do you think's going to happen this week? What are your predictions?
Man, I don't know. But I'm reminded of a really incredible meal that I had once. It was like
I really hope this has nothing to do with anything. You just want to mention this meal.
It was this tasting thing at this restaurant called Bastion in Nashville. So CinemaSins had our 10th anniversary dinner, and we sat down, and this is one of those weird experiences where you're having a once in a lifetime moment where you're eating at this restaurant that's really nice, and it was so outside of my comfort zone because they're bringing these like little bite-sized things to you that you've never seen before, and the menu doesn't really tell you. It says grilled oyster, brown butter, horseradish, but you don't know what that means.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
No. But the first thing that I tried, which was that oyster dish, again, those words are cool. Just like all the words of Star Trek, describing episode 1 sound cool. But then it's like when you experience it that you realize, oh, it's just a really great, like every single flavor was brought to the perfect place and then all mixed wonderfully together.
Yeah, it did.
And so I loved that first dish. And then I got nervous because there was still so much tasting to go. And I don't know what the next one was. Beef tenderloin mustard yuzu. I don't know what that's going to be, right? Like,
and some of them were raw. Like, a lot of it was like, this is a raw strip of beef. This is a raw fish. And I'm like, okay.
We just peeled this off of an animal. Here you are.
Yeah.
And so,
I feel like that's cheating.
They obviously kind of infused flavors in it, but we don't know. I didn't know what that meant. but it was one of the most incredible restaurant experiences, not because I was tasting the most incredible food, but it was so well crafted and cared for. And we got to watch the chefs put every single dish together from the beginning to the end. And they did it with such care and such craft. So I'm kind of feeling like Picard's season 3 is like the same experience. Like I'm nervous. I'm excited about what's coming next. I don't know what it's going to be.
Confident that the chefs know what they're doing.
Exactly. Because that first one was so good. Yeah. But I'm still like, well, maybe the next one's not going to be very good. But it could be, and we're about to find out. So, I don't know. I'm hoping this is like the bastion of Star Trek for me.
I hope this is... I hope it's so many things. I hope it's an awesome goodbye. I hope it's a brilliant launching pad for a new series in the 2400s. I will not stop. I will not get off of that horse until we have it. But yeah, I'm so optimistic based on that first episode. I really am.
Are you nervous about it? So continuing going on with this Bastion theme, because I'm just like, well, I guess I'm hungry is one part. But there was this one round of food, and it was called black garlic cauliflower coffee.
Yes, and I remember. Yeah.
There's some of it that makes me really nervous. Those words should not go together, but they did, and they tasted delicious. Are you nervous about anything so far? Because it was so good. Episode 1 was so good. Episode 2, is it going to be a beef tendon, or is it going to be black garlic?
Or is it going to be a bit McDonald's? I am a tiny bit... I'm putting my fingers up to the camera to show you how tiny I am afraid. I'm a tiny bit afraid about Raffi and Seven. Because I like them as a couple. I don't like what this show has done with them as a couple, especially in like season 2. That's where I have a little bit of a concern. My other concern, and I think it's inevitable, is we have the crew together arguing. So we have like Worf that's reluctantly there, Beverly that's reluctantly there, Geordi that's like, I want to go back to my museum. I'm a little bit... Every story needs tension. It absolutely needs it. I just hope it feels organic and natural, because the more tension you build up, the more you have to justify why they eventually decide to get together. It can't be like this huge blowout and then everything is kind of, hey, we're back together now. And I do have faith that they're going to be fine. Just my experience of movies and TV shows is that you have to get over the awkward, oh, we hate each other, and then they get back together. And we know that tension is built in with Beverly disappearing for some reason. I hope that they're not too estranged. Inside me, I just want my lovely TNG crew to have a last final vacation together.
Have you ever been to a reunion, like a school reunion or anything?
No, I hated school passionately.
So did I. But I've gone to some reunions, and there are just some relationships that you see them and you're like, we have a lot of history, but we're just going to pretend none of that happened and get along for this night. I hope that's what they do with Picard if there is tension. Like if they are going to do the Seven and Raffi tension on top of Beverly tension, on top of potential tension with everyone else, like you mentioned. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully hopefully it'll be a really lovely little pairing. I'm hungry though. So can we just not do the show and go eat? Is that okay?
Let's go eat. And I've already had to wait 12 hours. I may as well wait another. No, we're watching it now. I would like to say something we did neglect last week was the lovely tribute at the end of the episode.
We
for
did
Annie.
Talk about
Annie Wersham.
I thought we did.
We did in the outtakes, but I wanted to give it a more...
Oh, like the show proper?
Yeah, in the show proper. Yeah, she did. Our lovely ball queen from last season did pass away after battling cancer. Queen. We love her so much. She is the best. She is muchly missed. With that, let's head over to the holodeck to watch the episode, and we'll see you suckers in 10 forward.
Why
You're not suckers. I love
suckers?
it. I don't. It was in the moment. I regret it.
Like, why
Truth
are
be
you so
known.
aggressive?
Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched. Most important question first, Ambassador, what is your beverage of choice?
Ooh, right, because you ask this question every week, and I should super be ready for it at this point. Oh my God, you're about to ask me to recap. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck.
Quick,
oh
what do you want from replicator? Quick.
Okay, listen, like Romulan ale for the first time because it was there.
It's also not the first time. I think that's what we pick every other week.
No. Have I ever said Romulan ale? Maybe early on.
At least somebody has, yeah. Well, I want the eye spray that goes into your eye. It's like the druggy eye spray.
Drugs?
Yeah, fuck it, why not? I want space drugs. Let's do it.
Cool.
Okay,
right
Ambassador, synopsisize us what happened this week.
Oh, shit!
Look of fear in your eyes. It's beautiful.
In this episode of Picard season 3 called Disengage.
Fuck yeah, it is.
I'm fucking professional right now. Well, let's just focus on the B plot first.
Good.
Rafi is Rafiing it up on a Ruffian planet where she is roughly experiencing the ramifications of
the ruffifications
of the ruffling of Starfleet feathers. Ooh, that was pretty good. She decides that she can't resist the temptation to follow yet another conspiracy theory web of lies, potentially. And so she risks her life to find out if a bad guy is really a bad guy, and if so, what kind of bad guy he is, and if he's just going to tell her how bad he actually is, resulting in the great reveal of the murder hobo Worf. Woo!
Yeah, get it, Worf. Get it, Worf.
Meanwhile, on the edge of Federation space stuff.
Outside of Federation.
Yeah. There's a nebulous, of course, causing shenanigans to happen that limit reasons for them to be able, them being the other people on the A plot, to do things that save their life easily. God, this is really hard. Okay. Bad ship is badass. Suspiciously badass. Led by potentially one of the greatest villains of all time. The good ship, which is also the medium bad ship, but good ship.
The Titan?
Titan has some stuff going on inside of it, which could all be resolved with a very fast DNA test. But we'll get to that and more on today's episode of Picard.
Brilliant. You did it. You did great.
I really feel like I should prepare.
You did great. 1 week you will, and then I'll take over, and it'll be fine.
Okay.
Amazing. Overall thoughts and feelings, Ambassador. Did you like episode 2? Did you like where it took us, where it's going, where we are, where we're beaming, not beaming?
You know,
inhibiting.
this was a good episode. I kind of mentioned in the beginning before we got started, I was kind of comparing it to being confused about what I was about to eat at a restaurant, and there were some bite-sized morsels that I was like, the fuck was that? I don't know if I liked that black garlic cauliflower coffee combination. Yeah. But then
I did not like that, for the record. I was not a fan.
But then there's like another option that just takes you back. And to me, the part of this that I wasn't quite enjoying was Rafi. Mm-hmm. And I have some notes about that when we kind of get into this, the specifics of the show. But yeah, this episode is like kind of like one of those where there's a reason that the ship can't move. And so there's a lot of interpersonal conversations going on. And I think that overall, this season is going to need this episode to kind of establish some relational elements together, especially with Shaw and Seven. And I think I overall really enjoyed it. And the reason I really enjoyed it was the bad guy captain lady. She's fucking amazing. And just outshines every single thing happening in this episode. If she wasn't there, I don't know that I would like this episode as much, because she's so juicy. Mm-hmm. And I think that the episode ends really interestingly with the beginning of a chase, kind of meaning that the momentum slowdown of this episode, it's showing us that it's trying to speed up into the third. And I'm all for it. So yeah, I think I liked it. What about you?
Incredible ending to the episode. That's a really bold way to end and then get us pumped for the next episode. I really liked it. I have pretty much similar thoughts. I think I liked the Raffi stuff a little bit more than you, but it was the part that felt the most, I get why we're here, but get on with it. I'm also kind of, and it sounds horrible, because she is acting her ass off as well. She is holding scenes on her own. She's on her own in the ship. She's being forced to exposition to us a lot. Like, we're getting a lot of the juicy stuff from her, and a lot of here's what the makeup of Starfleet intelligence is at the minute, and here's what we're worried about, and here's the bullshit that I have to get through. Yeah. And then wading through the weeds of her family life again, and then the drugs and stuff. And it is such a huge contrast to the spaceship stuff that we've got going on, which is the spaceship stuff that we've wanted for 3 years of doing this show. Like, this is the stuff we want to get back to. So I think I'm fingers crossed. I think overall, when we look back on it, it'll work. Mm-hmm. But it is the bit of the episode where, like, can we get back to the Titan? But of course, Worf showing up
really like the ship.
was chef's kiss and was incredible. But yeah, the rest of the episode, I probably was a little bit impatient with the dancing around the question that everyone's dancing around and demanding that no one dances around it, but you're actually dancing around it while you're insisting you don't dance around it. I am so relieved that they didn't hold on to that twist for any longer. I'm glad they gave it to us.
It was still a bit long.
It somehow still felt a bit long. Mm-hmm. But overall, I think the story they're crafting is really, really fun. It's great. And yeah, Amanda Plummer, daughter of Christopher Plummer, who is one of the other best bad guys in the history of Star Trek. We watched The Undiscovered Country together when we did the episode with Jeremy. And he's the bald Klingon. It was the original series, the last original series movie. So it was weird that you were jumping in at their very, very last film, and Kirk and McCoy are on that ice planet because there's been like a cloak ship that's blown up the Klingons' ship, and then there's a bald Klingon, and he's like evil, and I guess who's coming to dinner, and they do the Shakespeare stuff. Anyway, he's an awesome bad guy, and he would quote Shakespeare a lot. Anyway, awesome bad guy. That actor's daughter is playing Vadik, yeah.
Captain Vadik?
Yeah, being an evil person runs in their family.
Well, hell fucking yes. I mean, way to slay. Was that your favorite part of this episode? Was it also Vadik?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The way she describes her ship and her line delivery is deliberately, it has all of these affectations, and she just sounds like a French grandma that's just swinging on her porch, just like shooting squirrels.
She's so great.
And is a little bit insane, but doesn't realize she's talking to a spaceship.
Oh, that last kind of movement where the Titan engages and then goes and zips into the Nebulous, and she's just laughing and having the best
run.
She's like, this is exciting, you know.
Run. This is great.
Yeah. What a great. I'm getting chills thinking about it because, you know, you have only so many lines to emulate, and they gave her just the juiciest dialogue. She had some incredible lines. Like when she cuts in early, she's like, "Tick-tock of the clock. But you know, while you're deciding, let me introduce you to my ship." And she'd already lowered her shield, so you can just take a look at what we got going on.
We're gonna list every weapon that you've ever heard mentioned in Star Trek.
Then she says essentially is it Shrek? Shrink?
Shrike.
Shrink?
The Shrike
is a bird that will basically pick at its enemies, and I'm going to pick you apart little by little, just piece by piece. And I just want you to think about that while you decide whether or not to give me what I want. Bye! It's just so good.
It's so good, and it is over the top. I think it's definitely mustache twirly and extremely, extremely evil bad guy is going to be evil bad guy. I hope she gets some more nuance as we go on. I'm pretty confident that we will. I'm hoping that it's not one note kind of evil for the sake of being evil. I hope she has a reason beyond being a bounty hunter, because we know that we've been told she's a bounty hunter. I'm hoping she has something more behind it, something more than just wanting the money for Jack Crusher.
Let's dig into that just a bit, because there's also the 7 of 9 kind of referencing that there is this ship that she knows about from when she was in the Ranger days that has a lot of Starfleet weapons and more. And so I think they are building into something, bigger. And also, when you think about how they're going to tie in this massive ship and this person that they're just, giving so much character to, how are they going to tie that over to Rafi and Worf and this underground thing and the weaponry? Certainly they're going to tie them together somehow. So this could be the formation of how they're going to ... We're going to be along for the ride no matter what. I'm still hoping that when they do connect the dots, that it's kind of fun and not finally, can we just stop doing this now? The back and forth with Rafi.
Or we've seen this story before and we're kind of tired of it.
So I think you're right. I think there's something more to it.
I'm confident there is. I hope so. The first 2 episodes, how much work have they done in the first 2 episodes to introduce us back into the world? What kind of the the state of what Starfleet intelligence is looking at, what this potential terrorist is doing, and then introducing us to a new crew, which I already feel super familiar. Like the bridge crew, they've done a great job with them. I already feel comfortable and familiar with the Titans crew. Reminds me of Strange New Worlds, how we got introduced to them. Really, really strong first 2 episodes. Let's while we're still in the region of Raffi, let's do it. Worf! What an outstanding way to introduce Worf. It's kind of the only way to bring him back in. Just turns up and starts slicing up fools. How awesome did that feel? How great was that? He's one of your favorites.
Ugh, I love Worf. Yeah. In the outtakes, you will hear my reaction to seeing Worf murder people on screen.
Yeah.
Because it just burst out of me, of course.
Well, just white hair flowing everywhere.
Well, I feel like, so the second that the weapon pierced through the body directly towards camera, and it was angled specifically, I knew it was Worf because it was his blade, which I can't remember the name of because I'm not that. Well,
it's actually, it's new for this series, and I'm so annoyed because I know he has the Batleth, the Mechlef, and I can't remember what this one is called, but it's one that he's designed.
And the Woo
It's like a Deckleth or something. I'm going to Google it. Tell me how much you like.
Treble Clef. I adore him, and so I saw this weapon, and I was like, oh my god, that's Worf.
Kurleth.
And then because, what?
It's a Kurleth.
Kurleth?
Got a Batleth, a Mechlef, and a Kurleth.
A Kurleth? With a T?
Kurleth. K-U-R''Leth. Kurleth.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember that in 12 seconds, but cool. That sounds awesome.
You respect the eyes of a tar kick.
Because I had seen the images of his white eyebrows and white, mustache and whatever his facial hair structure is called. I also am not familiar with how to define a beard.
Goatee. He has a goatee.
I knew it was Worf instantly, but then just to watch it and be like, man, he is so badass. Like, how much fun did I have watching somebody be decapitated? A lot.
You giggled. You giggled like a tiny little child. You're like, the Ferengi died.
I don't know. It's just so fucking cool to see his face again and to see his badassery again. And to think, like, you were right, that was her handler. And
I bet you couldn't unread it when they were talking this time. I bet you were like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course it's Worf now. And I'm glad that that was there, and I'm glad that he showed up. And when there was this like moment, so earlier, obviously in the episode, we're learning that Starfleet is saying, hey, we're not looking into this weapon anymore. We have our guy. It's done. And Rafi's like, that smells like a conspiracy theory to me because here's all the reasons this doesn't make sense. And she's, dialoguing to this mysterious handler, completely missing that she herself could be in danger. It's actually one of the things I like about Rafi is that she has nothing to lose. And a lot of these characters have something to lose. She doesn't. Like, she literally feels like she has nothing to lose. She doesn't have family. She doesn't, like, she's just like, this is all she has is proving that she's right.
But I love that's kind of
that.
It's kind of proved how much in her head that is, because there is always a chance of a relationship with her son. She drops everything, goes there with her ex-husband, whatever. There was that little window there and she still can't ignore it. And the kind of, I don't know if it's a sin or not, but I didn't like how her husband was kind of implying that this is a choice. Sometimes addiction isn't a choice. Like, it's not as easy for her to just say, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to be with my family. That's not how addiction works. It's not how bad thought patterns work. It might just be so impossible for her to break out of that. And I hope that's more of a character trait of her husband rather than what the show thinks about Raffi. Because she isn't, there's a lot of ways where she isn't making a choice here. It's just this compulsion that she has to pursue.
And it's not necessarily the addiction of drug, it's the addiction of thought. She cannot break out.
She gets tied up in webs so easily and she has to find the solution.
I think that because we got to see her in 2 previous seasons, this is a character trait that is just completely on point. I totally believe it. I completely believe that she's lost in this. I don't understand why Worf saves her. I'm curious about that because it seems like, Starfleet would, if there's a rogue person that's going to go get themselves into trouble, you just cut ties and then they take care of themselves, as if this is kind of like the dark underbelly of Starfleet. So I'm kind of curious what Worf is up to. Like, what does this say about not only who he's working for in Starfleet, but what they stand for? Because we're kind of being told that there's like kind of two parts of Starfleet. There's the good guys of Starfleet, and then there's this dark underbelly of Starfleet. And Worf was sort of on the fringe for me, or this handler person rather was on the fringe for me, because obviously they're kind of sending Rafi in to do some stuff and saying disengage, like you're gonna die. The whole back and forth of like 117 people have died, and Worf is like 118 if you don't quit it. And so
I love that line so much.
Me too.
You did.
So yeah, so I really I was really kind of curious about that, but I have to say, even though the B plot for me is pulling me away from where I want to be, there was still some really strong stuff in there. Not just Worf, and not this interesting idea that a addictive character can take an important role and have a journey. Because I'm in it for Rafi. I don't mind what they're doing with Rafi. It doesn't annoy me too much. It's just distracting from where I would rather be in a way. I think upon reflection, I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
But I adored that Ferengi. I felt like that was a real Ferengi. Like my
felt like an episode of TNG.
Kind of. I don't know. I feel like the Ferengi that I'm used to are sort of like comedy relief. And they're the butt of the joke. And they have a butt on their head too. So it's great. But this felt like the real dangerous Ferengi. That scene with Rafi and the Ferengi where he was so far ahead of her, so intelligent. I really loved that. What was his name? Something Sneed. This is what Sneed.
I feel like the Ferengi were supposed to be, then accidentally got turned into the comic relief. Then Deep Space Nine did some deeper work with them, but they were still kind of, the Ferengi episodes were still kind of the, oh, ha, ha, we've got a Ferengi episode this week. This is what I feel like they were meant to be, like really vicious, capitalist, just super duper self-serving. And of course, you've always got the like kind of diversity in every culture where not all of the Ferengi are bad, but there's something about them that leads them to this underground kind of lifestyle. He was great. Love the prosthetics. Love the look of him
so
as well.
Good.
So
he had
good.
the tattoos going on.
Yeah, some scars.
And they weren't like big sort of ornate tattoos. They were really intricate. Like I can see them meaning something.
Yeah. Had his like stubble as well. I was like, this is a living, breathing Ferengi.
Yeah. It was good.
Just so good. And
acted.
Super well. That's a great point. Really well acted, because this is an actor that 12 Monkeys fans will have seen before. Hidden beneath all of that prosthetic makeup is, and I've just lost, is Aaron Stanford, who plays James Cole, who is the lead character. He is Future Jesus in 12 Monkeys. So obviously Terry Matalas gave him a ring and said, hey, do you want to be a Ferengi that gets killed by a Klingon? And he's like, fuck yeah, I do. So nice little Easter egg in the casting as well. Really, really, really fun.
I liked also that we very quickly kind of get to the end of this. I mean, hopefully the end of this part of Rafi's being on a drug planet kind of thing. Like, I feel like they're also, just like they kind of ended, is Jack not Picard's son? Where that's wrapped up on episode 2. Also wrapped on episode 2 is this kind of like Rafi in the drug kind of area. I feel like if it went on to another episode, I'd be like, okay, I want to leave now.
Yep, I want something nice for Rafi, please.
And so it didn't become Sneed giving her or whatever the next clue to go to the next place to get in, even deeper into the mystery of who did this. She goes in, she's all in, she risks it all. It tries to go toe-to-toe with this person, doesn't do very well, honestly. And she's just kind of like trying to find the information.
With half a plan. Just a half a tiny bit of a plan, and it backfires.
Yeah, I know you don't work for this guy because he's dead. Here's his head.
His head. I love it.
Just, chilling with the wine in the back.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. And I thought the scene looked awesome as well. Sort of this like super hangout area where you have the drug lord in his own booth that's well lit with interesting things to look at everywhere. It was, I don't know, the set just looked fantastic. I was having a great time. Even though I wanted to get back on the ship, I really loved that scene.
No, I totally agree with you.
I wouldn't feel right not saying that about Rafi's story. Is there anything else about Rafi's story that we wanted to talk about before we go to the other parts?
No, just that Section 31 is mentioned. So you've got Starfleet, which is like the exploratory branch, and the military branch. You've got Starfleet Intelligence, which does like threats, domestic and otherwise. And then Section 31, which doesn't officially exist. This is the Tal Shiar kind of underbelly of Starfleet, which isn't sanctioned, can kind of work around the laws that now everyone kind of actually knows about. So whereas Starfleet will do some extreme, and Starfleet Intelligence will do some things to get where it needs to go, Section 31 will break all of the rules and torture people and do whatever it needs to get to the truth. So I kind of am interested to see how much maybe Worf is dealing with Section 31 now. But yeah, there's lots of directions I would love Section 31 to go.
And they just really gave those lines to Sneed really well, I felt. Like, it was like, you stink of Starfleet, you stink of this, you stink of that, you stink of 31.
He was
and
great.
Even though I didn't know what 31 was, it just kind of like laid out what potentially is happening with Rafi's connections specifically. So, okay. Well,
I'm glad she's safe. I'm glad she's getting looped in pretty quickly. Let's get back to the Titan. And I am going to start with my one hiccup. And it's not a sin. We'll get into the sins later. But my one overall plot thing of, yes, it's Picard's son. I'm happy with that. I love that. Like, you know what? No, I'm going to start with a positive, goddammit. Beverly and Picard, at the end of this episode, the eye contact between them, the unspokenness of that scene, just in her eye. He asks the question, she answers with her eyes, he responds, goes to action. That was like, as a writer, it makes me feel useless because I'm just like, oh, we don't actually need words. we're just gonna let people look at each other.
I need you to emote with all of the emote that you can emote with.
And
emote
maybe
press it out of your eyes.
Maybe. But it was big. I love that. I thought it was beautiful. However, the stuff leading up to it, the Riker pressing in and being like, tell me. You're not going to tell me? Tell me. Are you going to tell me? Are you going to answer out this? Or are you going to tell me? Nobody asks the question that we're all thinking, and then they acknowledge that they're not asking the question. There's just a lot of dancing around this big, big reveal. So while I'm happy we're done with it, there was a lot of that in this episode of dancing around the point. And if we'd have done a simple DNA test, then we would have figured this out immediately. But that's in the sins. But how did that hit you? The interaction between Picard and Jack, Riker suspecting he knows but not knowing completely, and just the mystery of who Jack is, which is kind of what the pivot point of this episode is who is Jack? Is he worth
Who is Jack?
Keeping?
So let's start with who I think Jack is. I think right now, I believe that Jack is Picard's son. I believe that Beverly and he had relations, and this is probably the reason that Beverly bounced, like I kind of assumed from before, and that Beverly has been training Jack to be a great doctor. And this is maybe even Star Trek introducing a new long-term character into their canon where if they are building... Like, can you imagine it?
I love
Titan
him.
actually has him as the doctor in some sort of series or something.
Yeah.
Because he has all of the telltale qualities, in my opinion, of a really interesting character to follow. Somebody who breaks the rules, somebody who pushes boundaries, somebody who apparently, if he has, I think, what did he say at one point in time? Like, if he has enemies, it's smugglers and gangsters and fathers of a lot of women. So he kind of has that thing going for him too, where he's just this wild child, but that his mother taught him everything she knows. So I think we're seeing Star Trek's version of a legacy character that gets to be the embodiment of Picard and Beverly in some way. And so I can't imagine that he would exist only in the third season of Picard, but if he does, and he's just here for a time, I really do wonder if they're going to focus a lot on the dynamic of who he is throughout the rest of this season so that the people watching this beloved content can release Picard and Beverly and focus their adoration onto maybe the arc of his story in this season 3 of Picard. Like maybe he's going to start off pretty rebellious and then find his footing. And maybe 7 of 9 is like, hey, I understand what it's like to be rebellious, but sometimes you have to join Starfleet and just do some shit you don't want to do. You know, like I can see them trying to almost like put this framework in place where Starfleet isn't all bad. We have some gray area. You can be part of that too and just like develop this next sort of epic era. I do believe, that he is his son. There was this moment where he looked up at camera and just the shape of his almond eyes, I was like, oh my God, that does kind of look like Picard.
Patrick Stewart. Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's pretty awesome.
And though it was heavy-handed, Will Riker kind of being like, you see it, right? And then just over and over, like just in case anyone didn't want to believe, just like really just smashing it over our heads.
Yeah, it was a lot, wasn't it?
But at the same time, if you have 30 minutes to decide the fate of somebody who could be your son, and you don't want to say it out loud, but you do want to hint at it strongly, it would make sense that Riker would be like, do you see it? Do you see what I see? Because it is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm okay with it. This is how they want to do it. And they wanted to give the line to Picard, which I thought was interesting. It wasn't Beverly's actual physical line. It was Picard's line at the end, and then became the very reason that we are saving ourselves and it was Shaw immediately dissolved.
Like, well, shit. God damn it. I guess I'm not giving up Picard's son, because he is just like, there's no way I can get away with it. Like any last slip of conscience I had, he's now buried inside because this is actually his son. I can't give him up. Fuck, I guess we're fighting. And I kind of love that resolution. Like, it is a bit hand-wavy. It's a little bit convenient, but I also buy it. That even Shaw, who we know he has his, like, hard lines, he's like, well, shit. I guess I'm not getting away with it.
I do want to say, too, though, that I think that the writers and the direction does a very interesting thing by not giving us a lot of the thought process here in the moment. They have such little time to exchange so much information. So to give it silence, because Picard, when he was looking at Jack in the brig, he looked and Jack said, I don't have a father. It almost like killed Picard. Like you could, the way that I'm interpreting Patrick Stewart's acting is really interesting. And I don't know if I'm picking up what is intended, but there just was so much emotion. And then whenever Beverly and he are just like looking back and forth to each other, and he's accepting that he's a father, and he's accepting that like it's like
that
finding out that you have a son, knowing that you haven't been there, not understanding. There's so much pain.
Yeah, of
that
course.
I think he's emoting, and then acceptance, and then I don't have time to feel this shit. Shut it down. Let's go. And so I don't know. I thought it was really fucking cool. I don't mind it.
I really love that. I think if you're gonna go with this secret and you're gonna go with a Picard's son storyline, I think this is one of the only ways that you have to do it. Like the Riker nodding to the audience, like the Riker is us at the minute. Like they have deliberately written Riker's lines to be the audience saying, "You see it, right? Why is nobody addressing this? Can we all know what we're saying here, but we're not saying it." So I do like making Riker the surrogate for us, but it still means that you're aware of the guessing game that you're putting us through and how it's a bit cliche and a little bit tropey. So I'm glad we've done it. I'm like you. I'm on the fence. I'm a little bit tired of it's my son, surprise, fatherhood. It's been done, but I 100% understand how you can't resist giving Picard a progeny, giving him a legacy in the future so that the Picards don't die with him. Because that's always been, as a fan, it's something that's bugged me. It's like, hey, why can't we just have something that carries on Picard? Like, it's natural to us. We want to carry on our line. And it's been a thing that has bugged Picard. So I'm not surprised they did it. And I'm not really surprised about the way they did it either. But it's not my favorite thing until we get to the resolution. And it's like, right, done, action, let's go.
Yeah. It's like I think they did a good job of delivering what they wanted to deliver in the time crunch that they made us, because this episode is all about going against the clock. They have the ticking clock in every scene pretty much, where we're just like we only have so much time to have a conversation. If this had happened in any other way, there would be very long conversations to be had.
Oh, of course.
But they really want to avoid all of that and
long
just
scans in sick bay.
Yeah. It's a very, very interesting episode. And I have to say too, something that feels really doomy about their situation, not only being against a big ship, but against a big ship that knows a lot about Starfleet too.
Yeah.
We have this captain who not only knows who's on board, but instantly knows the psychological evaluations of Shaw.
Oh my.
Like, this person has information that they shouldn't have. So
and the Gollum status of Picard.
So yes, they could be just a simple bounty hunter that's looking to grab Jack, but Jack has also been hunted by Starfleet, Klingons, and other people, I think, that were referenced. So there's something going on here, and they're like caught in this really interesting web. And so to be like, Picard, you have a son, it's almost this interesting way of mind wiping the audience to forget the dangers that's going on too. And so I really hope it doesn't become a let's just focus on Jack and Picard and Beverly and Riker's relationship, but they're trying to do something really interesting here. They have given a new enemy a lot of information, and so I hope that they do the intrigue thing too for the fans. Like, I hope it's a good balance is what I'm saying.
I hope she's worthy.
Story also like this intrigue of what they're doing with Starfleet.
We want villains that are worthy, which will actually, I'm just going to make a note of it.
Okay, do it. While you're doing that, I like that we're starting like with the Jack thing. The other interesting thing I think that they did with Jack is they start off this episode by saying 2 weeks ago, and then they're like open up on space with like some music playing, and it felt so Star-Lord to me. And Jack is also very Star-Lord, you know?
But 99% less of a dick.
You don't know that.
I don't like Star-Lord. It's just a given.
Jack is pretty sassy though.
He's so sassy, but in a likable way. Like, I'm not going to get into a Star-Lord debate. I will not be dragged into semantics. But
I'm just saying that they're giving a vibe. They're giving a vibe here.
They absolutely are. It's a frontier medicine. And this is something I really, really love, is that Beverly has always loved the idea of frontier medicine. Like, her grandmother was always, I think her mother was always on the edges of Starfleet, like helping planets in need that were like, that didn't have the resources. That's the shit she loves. So I kind of love that she's out there for the last 20 years with her son doing frontier medicine, like on the edge and just like helping people. It is 100% consistent with what we know about Beverly. I love it. But yeah, I love how sassy he is, and his lines are so well written.
I think it's really fun, and that whole opening scene, didn't last too long. I didn't feel, and great pacing. And it basically is they go to this planet that has this Galarian sort of disease. There's all these people that are dying, and then there's also some like intrigue where he's gonna give the Fenris Rangers weapons so that they can go in and fight the other bad guys who are essentially using the pandemic to wipe out people.
Just putting his thumb on the scales a little bit.
And so it changes it because there's a lot of information in just such a short conversation about we're not just giving medical supplies, we're also weaponizing people to help in this other way. So it's not just medicine. And I think that's where Jack is probably going to be more of a dangerous kind of character. That entry ends with, I believe it was a Fenris Ranger, because he said it was the Fenris Rangers. Yes. Ends with the Fenris Ranger saying, reach out to the marked woman because we found him. So they're working with this woman and calling her the marked woman. So and
she seems to be working with everybody because he said that the Klingons were after me, Starfleet were after me, and the Fenris Rangers were after me, and now it's her. So she has her fingers in so many pies, which is what I'm loving. I think she's going to be so much more than a bounty hunter.
I also thought that they did a good job of showing the parts of Jack that are like the baseline of his character, because he's going to go turn himself in to the detriment of his own person to save his mom, which
I love it.
Further solidifies that for that split second where we're like, Jack really isn't Jack. He was just, posing as Beverly's son. No, he really is.
I didn't buy that for a second. It would have been super duper cheap, I feel. I initially did balk when it said 2 weeks ago, because I'm like, but then we're there for like 3 minutes, and it was needed. It gave us some solo time with Jack to have some personality. figure out what him and Beverly, like a brief description of what they were doing, and then how we got into this situation that we're in now. It was super duper efficient, and I give this episode and this show so far so much grace because it's so well written. I am laughing out loud at so many lines. Basically, every word that Shaw delivers, almost everything that Jack says, it's just like the metaphors and just how they're conversing with each other isn't natural, but it is so witty and it's so on point, and it's fun to watch a well-written show. I love it. I really do.
It really is. I think so who are you saying your favorite quips are coming from?
Shaw, all day long. Shaw is incredible. We're cornered in space, even though space has no corners.
No corners. Yeah.
He's so done with this shit. He's
so done with this shit.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
me too.
I'm seeing a little bit of feedback. I'm seeing a lot of feedback on the Twitterverse and the internet, and people, do not let Twitter stress you out. Love what you love, please. But people aren't liking Shaw because he's antagonistic, and I get it. I do. But I
called
love
that
him
last week.
because he's antagonistic for the right reasons. Like, not everyone has to like everyone, and I get it. He might be getting in the way of Picard and Riker doing their thing, but it's logical. He has his ship, he has his people, and I just love him as a character. He's so he's not a dick for the sake of being a dick. He backs up everything that he says. But then when it comes down to doing, quote unquote, the right thing, he acts definitively. He is so much like early Picard, like so similar. And he's like Cisco as well. Cisco was a bit of a dick. I just think that if we're lucky enough to keep Shaw around, we're gonna have a real classic legacy captain on our hands. He's my favorite part of the show so far.
I agree. I'm really interested in him because even though he might come off a bit wishy-washy, he has certain standards and he'll hold to it. And then if he changes his mind, he holds to this new thing, and he's really difficult to sway. And I respect those kinds of characters, even though sometimes they drive me crazy. Shaw right now isn't driving me crazy because it makes sense to me, the decisions he makes. We talked about this a little bit last week. Like, he is trying to do it by the books, and he's not nice about it, but he doesn't have to be.
No, there is one decision he makes. There's one argument that sways him that I think shouldn't, that we'll get to in the Sins. But overall, and it is the actor. I'm not going to pretend it's not Todd Stashwick doing the work here. It's well written, but I am just I might be in love. I'm just glued to him whenever he is talking and on screen. I'm just okay, Captain. I'll shoot Picard. It's I will follow you into battle. He's incredible. He's my favorite part. I will gush
I feel
about him.
Sometimes the shows will lack that person that holds a line for the rules, because for the sake of the adventure, will abandon things. And Picard will regularly stand for what's right, and then this one he's standing for Jack's right to a trial and not just to be handed over to be killed. And Shaw is standing in the line of the by the letter. Okay, yeah, but we are outside of Federation space. And so it's very clear that there are 500 people that I'm responsible for, and Jack is one, and you are another one, Picard, and you're another one, Riker, and 7. I will get rid of you 4 to save my crew. And part of me is man, this guy would do it. And he allows there to be conversation in the window that the show gives us, that 1 hour. And the plot reveals itself that Jack will take things into his own hands, and he will leave to go transport himself off of the ship. And
that whole sway with him, he doesn't just toe the line and think, well, he's an asshole, I'm going to give him up. He's going to be okay, he's not such an asshole, but I'm still going to let himself give him up because I'm going to kind of respect what he wants to do, and it kind of benefits us.
He delivers barbs, and he's not tactful. He's just insanely direct. But I don't usually see that in my shows, so I'm intrigued by it, and I like it.
This is the kind of conflict I like. The emotional conflict, I get tired of so quickly because I'm a child. I'm sorry. I'm an emotionally bereft zombie. But this kind of conflict where he's get off my bridge, I get that conflict. I understand it. I would be pissed off by exactly the same way. And just you reminded me of one of his barbs. When 7 of 9 is there is an admiral over there and a captain over there, and he's just Commander, quit it. Like, if you're just gonna throw titles at me, I'm gonna remind you that you're beneath me, and it's my word. Like, you're telling me things I know. It's not gonna change what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Yeah, let's see. What was another line I wrote down from Shaw that I really liked? Oh, when he goes, "Oh, you boys are in so much trouble." I really liked that. I thought that was really funny because he has a sense of has a sense of humor. He's not a robot like that. He's just delivering rules. He is sassy, and he kind of like, you can tell he lives for the drama a little bit.
I think one of his big character flaws is being a bit power mad, because he holds his power over people so much. Like when 7 of 9 finds Jack, he's like, well, you may have got your commission back. He has the power of life and death over her career, and he like wags it back and forth so much. I'm not saying it's a nice thing to do, but it is consistent. Oh man, I love him. I think he's the best. Okay, I'm going to quickly gush about just the unseen enemy in this episode. And
I'm not done with Shaw.
Oh, okay, carry on, go with it. Do it. Give me more Shaw. I'll do another hour on him. Let's go.
No, I did. I'm going through my notes as you're talking, and I did come across a Shaw note, and I'll mention it here before we move on to the other stuff, which is, everything that a set designer does or makeup artist does or whatever, it's all like with the intention of delivering something specific about a character. One of the other things I love about Shaw is his hairstyle, which I feel like what it's saying is, I just keep reaching up and scratching my head in confusion and anger. Like, it's like I can feel him just grabbing the front part where the like little poof usually is, and just like pulling at it, like he's pulling at his hair because he's so annoyed all the time. Because he just has this sort of like front section right at the top of his forehead that doesn't care at all what it's doing. And I don't know how on purpose it is, but I keep looking at it going, I feel that.
I know. It's like, I get it.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I totally
everybody's
get it.
hair is doing something very specific, and his is just like, I just got out of bed
like perfect,
and I don't
like,
care.
Square helmet.
My hair is the last thing that I'm thinking about because there's too much shit going down on my ship. That's what his hair says. And I don't know if it's on purpose, but if we ever find out, if we ever get to talk to anyone that does this show, I'm going to ask that question. I'm trying to remember.
Is Shaw's hair deliberate?
Is it deliberate?
I think it has to be, because Vadik says something about his psychological profile. He's got like the bags under his eyes, the stubbly beard. He looks exhausted. He's a man that is like either 10 seconds away from the edge or always on it. And it's just like something's going to push him over. I want to see this man tested. I want to see him pushed to the edge. He's fascinating to me. Well, okay, I could continue about Shaw.
I think that's all, but I wanted to see if I had another like Shaw thing.
Another Shaw quote. Sure, I could write down every.
Oh, the barb where Picard is like really edging Shaw on and saying like, you can bring the ship down. You can bring her down by simply standing up. And then she comes on the screen and just gives him the whole like carrion bird thing, and he's like, way to stand up there, Admiral. Like, it's just so funny to me.
Dick. Anyway. He just gives no shits. Like, he is, I don't care if you're a legacy character. I'm done. You're fucking with my ship.
I do think that maybe the one thing I would change about his character is at the very end, he acquiesces very quickly. And I'm kind of curious about, and I'm not talking about, I love that he's like, I understand we're fighting now, but he still gives control of the ship to someone else. And I'm like, I just don't know if Shaw would be like, yeah, here, take my ship. Let's all die. I don't know. It just seems like a little bit of a stretch.
It's the fact that, so I don't think he's a petty man. And as soon as it's revealed that is Picard's son, Riker's son. Wow, that'd be a twist. That is Picard's son. The actions that Admiral Picard takes are the same actions that Shaw would take. So he's not going to say, shut up, Admiral, I'm going to say the words. He's like, he's resigned to it. But I get it. Like, I get, you might think, hey, don't you give orders on my bridge. But at the same time, he's like, well, fuck, I guess we're doing this then. And he's on to the next problem. Let's go. Let's get into it. He
said that was some terrific standing up, Admiral. That's
so good.
I finally found it.
I love the passion where he's just like, here's our ship. We're an exploratory vessel. this is not a dogfight that we win, people. Like, do the math. We are not winning this fight. I love his arguments. I love it. Okay. Anyway, moving on. The next thing I love so much about this episode is this great bit of storytelling, which is the unseen enemy. So the Shrike, like Amanda Plummer isn't brought in until Shrike? I think it's Shrike.
Okay.
Shrike. Amanda Plummer isn't brought in until like halfway through the episode, and we get a few sentences from her. And then she comes back kind of 2/3 in and then at the very end. But for a good chunk of this episode, you just have the Shrike hanging over the Titan and just this unknown bad guy where they're guessing what's going on. And it's so intimidating. Like, it's scary because it's just hanging there. You don't know. There are no demands yet. There's no, other than blowing up the escape route, the shuttle, there's
like a very precise
else.
Attack.
Yeah, very precise so that you can't escape. That's all. We know that you can't escape in the Ilios. And it's just this great, it's like Hannibal Lecter, it's like Alien in the first Aliens film. It's like all of these great bad guys that are just there, but they're unseen presences until they come in, propel the plot along, and then disappear again. I just thought that was really, really villained extremely well.
I did too. I think that they just kind of built this villain in a new way, and it felt really, really refreshing, even though it's terrifying. And can we talk about flinging a ship into a ship now?
What happened? They threw a ship at us.
They threw a ship at us.
How is that even possible?
They did it. They grab on with this tractor beam, green thingy that just like dissolves.
The
like because
reverse
whenever
repulsor beam,
yeah, because when we had Picard,
beautiful.
Riker, and Jack, and Beverly in her pod inside that ship at the beginning, and that what I assumed was a tracker beam, but now I think it's actually a weapon, was like doing its thing.
Both, yeah.
It was really intense. It was essentially just like crushing them.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, you know what? We're going to use this and we're going to fling you this way. And then
Love that. Yeah. Good bit of physical effects. The Titan, physical effects. The opposite of physical effects. Special effects. That's the one. Bloody hell.
That's the one.
The Titan is just so pretty. There are some establishing shots of the Titan. The external is so bright. I can see it. I can see the ship. It's so pretty.
And in this episode, we get to do the cool thing where like you're seeing, there's like a alert that goes up when Jack escapes, and they're all kind of like walking through the different hallways to try to go find him. And so we're kind of exploring the areas of the ship a little bit more. We're seeing the transporter room. We're seeing the hallways are there. We've got like just these different places where everything's kind of like we're getting to kind of peek around the corners a little bit more. And it's so interesting because even though the transporter room is boring in a lot of ways, it's like one of the most important rooms that we see in Star Trek all the time. It's like this hub of activity of coming and going, and you never know what's going to be there. Like someone beams over and they're going to shoot each other instantly. There's always this like little drama that happens here. How little has changed in this room over the years. Like this transporter room setup is so Starfleet standard. They didn't really reinvent it too much. There's a place where the guy stands to do the thing. There's a little pod where they jump in, jump out, but it still felt it felt so familiar. Like every bridge feels familiar in some ways and new and fresh in others, but the transporter room doesn't change too much, does it?
And I remember reading an article like a couple months back when they were releasing some images of season 3, and one of them was of the transporter room and they were just like, oh hey, it hasn't changed much in 20 years. And I'm sure it was either Dave Blass or Terry Matalas that was like, yeah, it's a transporter room. It looks fucking great. Like this design is beautiful. Why would we change it? Like it's already great. Let's just make it a bit darker. They're really making it the hero right now. Whereas the first episode, we're like, okay, are you the villain? Because it looks like a darker Starfleet. This one's we're seeing the inside, and we get to see the cool fucking moment where they break the tractor beam. Yeah, Bamfin
of the bad guy's ship, and just goes shink, and it just like a knife through butter. Just like, I don't think so, buddy. And it was pretty fucking cool looking. I loved it.
Cool. I love a sudden, like, it was telegraphed as heck, because Riker's just like, we've got something on sensors. What the hell is that? Boom. I was like, Deus Ex Titaner. I love the moment. You gotta love it. I don't have much else. Love Worf. I love Beverly coming to the bridge. I really like Jack. I like Shaw.
I like 7
the
of 9
emotions
as
less.
well.
Yeah, I do like 7 of 9. She's
has
doing
an
great.
interesting position here. She seems to be both excited about being demoted and booted, and also annoyed at the same. Like when she, so she, what's it called? Like she's insubordinate, so she's removed of her rank in this episode, but
relieved of her duty.
Relieved of duty. But before she is officially relieved of duty, she's in trouble like multiple times. So she is pushing, and Shaw is kind of still giving her a little bit of room, but then she's pushing. And there's this moment where she pushes and she said, "Captain, you can be the captain who lets 2 legends die, or the hero that saved the heroes." And I thought that was a good, like, her coming in and pushing again, going, "Hey, you can do something right now and be seen as this." So I feel like she's kind of delivering what she needs to be delivering.
I love to see her push in on Shaw. Because again, that's what a first officer should do.
She's like a thorn in his side.
Yeah. You want to be somebody that's giving you the alternate arguments. But yeah, you could argue she's maybe taking it too far. But no, I agree. I hope we get some more of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I liked that. I liked that we had that. Something else I just remember that I liked too was at the beginning when there was like a little puzzle of how they're going to survive on this dying ship when the Titan wasn't showing up, and they used the dampeners to not be able to be beamed off of the ship.
Yeah.
But then whenever the Titan shows up, they couldn't beam him off because of the dampeners, so they had to kill the dampeners. I thought that was kind of a neat way of showing that they like had a little puzzle that they figured out how to do, and then they had to undo their puzzle. And get to see using the phaser. Yeah, it was really kind of like a, wait, why isn't that working? Oh, right, we just did this thing over here.
We're the reason that isn't working. Fuck.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of clever.
Like you're on the phone to IT support and realize that you haven't plugged the Ethernet cable back in. It's like, oh, this is on me. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops. Yeah. No, I just realized that I have another Shaw one, but I'm going to make it my outro today, so I won't say it now.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I have another moment that I like too.
Do it.
That moment whenever they're all beamed over to the Titan and they walk onto the bridge and the ensign turns out like, "Captain," and they're all like, "Yes."
All 4 of them. There's Riker. No, I don't know if it's it's Riker, Picard, and Shaw all say yes. Really? That's always a funny moment.
It was just really funny.
It's such a good Star Trek moment. Right, I could gush more. Really like this episode. Gives me hope for next week. Just the ending, the cliffhanger ending is great. We've got a classic. Let's go into the nebula. Like, they are just, these nerds that are making this show are just drip feeding us Star Trek tropes that we love. We love a good battle in a nebula. Some of the most iconic stuff has happened in nebulas. So and it's such a cheeky way to guarantee you've got a strong open to episode 3, because you've got the Shrike chasing after the Titan in a nebula. Of course, you're going to have a great open to that episode. I'm all here for it. I love it.
The last thing before we go on to our sins, I must say, is I really enjoyed Picard. I really enjoyed the moment when he was sitting in front of Jack on the brig. I mentioned the emotions that he had as he was trying to figure out if Jack is his son, but I don't know. There's something about the way that Patrick Stewart just still gives it everything he's got. And there's this moment when he's just really emphatically saying I am trying to do something for you here. And his voice, his elderly, chords are crackling and his eyes are crinkly, but he's still just bringing this character to life. And I was just thinking it's just so awesome to see this person choose to spend the time to put the last bits of his energy that he has on this planet into giving us good scenes to chew up. And even though he's not given all of the lines, he's given enough, not only to remind us who his character is, but to give him even more depth. And it doesn't work if Patrick isn't there for it, and he is. And there's
He's
just
so
these
present.
there's these times when he shines, and for me that was the big moment. And of course the emotion of realizing that was his son. That was such a pivotal thing that I want to watch again. But I had chills, and it wasn't it was the most amazing lines or anything. It was just recognizing what this person that's a real person on our real living in our real universe is choosing to do for us. And I don't know, I just really appreciated that, because I love Picard, the character, and I think he's still doing him the greatest service by showing that he's so dedicated to figuring out this problem. He's like, I've only got 13 minutes, so I've got a problem to solve. And I'm like, that's how Picard would do that. He's gonna fucking get it done. Yeah. So anyway, ugh.
No, I totally agree that the passionate
it makes me so happy.
delivery.
I want to cry a bit, honestly.
The passionate delivery behind his lines is incredible. It's so good. He's a great actor, and it shows you how much the role of Picard means to him. And he said that it's changed his life, and he's had ups and downs with it. But this is what he's choosing to come back to and give one last story to. So totally on board with you. And I think it's great. And I love that we've got a Sun storyline going on. I cannot wait to see what Beverly and Picard talk about next week.
I can't help but like it. But I'm pretty sure that when we were watching season 1, we were like, Picard doesn't need a son. That's not like him. We were really on it. And now we're like, ooh, he's got a son.
Yay. Okay, well, I that's pretty much everything I've got. Are we time to send some stuff?
Let's do it.
Are we doing it? Let's do it. We'll catch you over in engineering. Red alert, everyone.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
This is the part of the show where we head to engineering and re-engage our sin brains to remind ourselves that no TV show is without sin, even our beloved Star Trek. Ambassador, kick us off. Honestly, this is going to be pretty short. I haven't got much.
Okay. There's a few things I think that I would sin. Seven has already shown so much of her breaking the rules that when we see her on the bridge early on, I'm like, how is she still on the bridge? My very first instinct was, why isn't she, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought she was already relieved, already should be in her quarters or something. And then she's carrying on, and
she's still in charge, and she's giving orders
Jack as well.
Yeah,
I got a little bit lost about where she is.
They dissolve it, but I feel like the sin here is that Shaw allowed her to be on the bridge in the first place. It just seems like he is the kind of character who would have no room for second chances in a way. Yeah. I don't know. But we might learn more about Shaw and her as time goes on, because he does seem to have a pretty long list. He lets her do a lot more before he eventually relieves her of duty. So I kind of had that one written down.
That great quote. It's another one that he says. Which is well done, Seven. You just loyaltied your way out of a career. I was I love it when we verb things that aren't verbs. It's so great.
Yeah, he's great.
Just really great writing. Well, on the Shaw, that was weird. Shaun of Nine.
Shaw.
On the Shaw and 7 of 9, as I mentioned earlier, there was one argument that didn't ring true with his character, and I'm happy to be disproven and open to debate this completely. But Seven's argument didn't do it for me. So when she says, you've got a chance to be the hero and rescue these 2 other heroes, or basically you can be a coward and let them die, and then she leaves. This works. And it works because we need to push the story along, and it works because it's powerful when Seven said it and then she leaves. But that's nothing he doesn't know. He's had that shoved down his throat by Seven multiple times, that these are heroes, these are good people. And suddenly he swoops in to rescue them. I don't know what changed. What made Shaw decide I'm going to go and rescue them? This is still the same argument of, these 2 heroes that got themselves into this mess. I'm not going to risk my 500 crew to go and save them. Is it? And if it's just the fact that it's his conscience, that he can't live with the fact that he let them die, I want to hear that. And I didn't get it. I didn't feel like he was convinced, other than, we need a surprise arrival of the Titan. That's the only bit that didn't ring true.
Yeah, I can see that. They can't have it all the different ways, but Shaw is a confusing character right now. What is his motivation? And I hope that they continue to show us more, so that by the end of the season, we're like, oh, that's why he was wishy-washy.
Makes sense, And maybe it is an instability thing. Maybe deep down he wants to be a hero, and there's a reason that he plays it safe. Because he is heavily, heavily playing it safe at every point, until it gets to the crunch time, and then he takes the risks. So I feel like maybe we're going to learn that he took a risk that didn't pay off, and that's why he now plays it safe. I will revert this sin if that happens to be the case.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it was quite earned, but they're obviously trying to do a lot in this episode, and I think most of it works. So
yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know. That whole entire building, the Starfleet recruitment thing, only 117 people died. And I just
like we
can't
said,
help.
they're all on lunch.
I know that it sounds super shady for me to say. That doesn't seem like enough because that building
It's a
was
lot of numbers,
so
but still,
big.
it's huge.
And I was like, there's got to be like 5, 6. There's going to be thousands of people in there.
Yeah.
But 117, like that thing instantly fell through the ground and then fell from the sky. Everybody inside would be dead. But then the only thing I can think of is that there are like protocol in place for like shields and stuff.
Emergency
that maybe
beam out. Yeah, maybe.
Something happened and then I'm like, okay, 117, that's pretty fucking good, you know? So I feel like it would have been better for us to see like 117 out of 5,000 died or something, you know, to kind of give us an understanding of how many were in that place.
Yeah.
Because it looked like a really big building. But I don't know if that's a sin as much as it was like, that doesn't seem like a lot of people.
And scale is tricky.
And I feel
it
bad
may
for
not be as
saying
big
that.
as we think. I get it, because 10 people would be a lot. But
yeah,
it feels like it could have been more.
That's not fun. Murder isn't great. I don't want, you know, yeah, okay.
I get it. While we're on the Raffi end of the episode,
Mm-hmm.
this is one of those tropes that always gets me, and I would sin the heck out of it. It's the I'm going to take drugs to prove that I'm a bad guy thing. It is terrible it's a terrible bit of logic on all fronts. Now, it is slightly redeemed because Sneed already knows that she's bullshitting. So making her take the drug is to 100% fuck with her because he already has the answer.
Yeah.
But TV shows do this so
a lot.
much. Like, I'm going to prove
that
that
you're
I'm
bad and sniff this cocaine.
And just as a drug lord,
Just
you
sniff
would
it.
be
Don't
like,
snort it. Just sniff it.
Just sniff it. As a drug lord, like, that doesn't prove shit. It just proves that they're willing to do whatever it takes. And it's never a good indicator of whether they're a bad person or not. And Raffi should know that as well. Like, Raffi should know that Sneed is up to something because, yeah, me taking the drug doesn't prove shit because you can, you're risking your life every day by going into Starfleet and doing things. Like, this is another risk that you're taking. So it always bugged me as a way of proving somebody's the bad guy. But it's kind of redeemed in this because Sneed knows what he's doing. But makes me question why Raffi is going along with it.
I also think I would sin, like, so when Seven goes in to talk to Shaw and she's like, you could be the one that rescues them. They don't even know that they're still alive, right?
I think they do. I think they're detecting life signs.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they know that Beverly is unwell.
Because I was confused about that.
Yeah, no, they know they're alive. They know that they're.
I'm like, they could be dead. They could be dead.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, then I'll skip that one since that one was rejected. A rejected.
Rejected.
Sin. Oh
Gnid.
shit. Yeah, Gnid. There's a moment when they're Picard and Riker and Jack are about to be boarded, and they kind of get that little explodey ball. I don't know what it's called. Phaser bomb. I don't know. And
yeah, a little grenade thing.
Riker like chucks it around the corner after they're boarded, and then blows up the bad guys. The bad guys beam in and immediately start shooting at Riker. How do they know that's not Jack? Because they very clearly want to take him alive. So I didn't like that. Like, that could have been anybody, and they're just shooting before even
maybe
looking.
they're on stun settings, perhaps, possible. But there is the whole... Oh, man, that is one thing that bugged me. The whole logic behind that battle, and Picard is just like, we're at a stalemate. You're not at a fucking stalemate, my friend. Not even close. They have all of the cards. Like, just because you've got the shields up and the transporter buffer, they will just keep sending people in. Like, this is not a stalemate. You at best have delayed them a little bit. And then obviously it's immediately just proven with the tractor beam that comes on. It's just, it's dumb that Picard, the brilliant tactician, ever thought, well, it's a draw. I was like, yeah, it's really not. Sorry, buddy. Not even close to being a draw. But also in that, kind of towards the end of that scene, the transporter inhibitors are so perfectly timed. Not just perfectly timed to prevent the transporter beam from happening, but perfectly timed to let enough of the transporter beam get through to let us know that they want Jack and not all three of them. So it's like, just transporter inhibitor ex machina and also expositional transport inhibitor, because he turns it on and they attempt to make a lock and then the lock gets broken. Like, if he turns them on sooner, it doesn't work at all. And it was just like, yeah, this was convenient.
Yeah, it sure was.
Just enough to give us some plot.
I kind of also want to send that moment when Jack just goes over and smacks the side of Beverly's savior pod and it pops back on. I just thought that was really funny.
Just kinetic adjustment. Yeah.
Like, that's how you get like a pinball machine to come back on that was like built in the 80s or something.
Yeah.
Or you like smack. I just thought that was really funny.
Stop hitting the thing that's keeping your mother alive, please.
I mean, it was turned off and it turns back on, so it definitely works in the right way. But it's like, this works. I just thought that would be kind of funny.
It does. Let's do it. You could have immediately proved that Jack is her son with a DNA scan. We've seen it done before. We've seen it done again. It takes minutes. Prove it. I don't know. I don't get it.
Is there something about consent though? Like, Beverly is unconscious. Can we take her DNA, ethically? I don't know.
They already have her DNA. You just need to scan Jack. Just get Jack's permission.
Jack and Picard are there. Just like a little.
Yeah. It's because we want the reveal at the end. That's all.
That was a very Star Trek sound that I just made. Did you hear that?
I did.
What an easy sin to reach for. The bad guy is smoking in a scene cliche.
Goodness.
You could very easily do that one.
Smoking's still a thing in the future, and the bad guys have to do it. Yeah. Immediate fog machine.
Fog machine.
Seen this before. I'll seen it again. I'll seen it every time it happens. Why are we waiting for human reflexes to evade the ship that's being thrown at us?
Yeah, she's just like typing so fast.
Automatic. As soon as this happens, shields. Why aren't the shields already up? Shields should already be up. Evasive maneuvers at the ready. We should not be waiting for Shaw to be like, shields up, evasive maneuvers, and then the person has to hear that, think about the evasive maneuver, put the shields up, bam, sorry, you've already been hit by a ship. That shit at this point should be automated. Jumping to warp 9 is now automated. 7 said it in episode 1, and yet you being defended is not automated. It's just garg.
Yeah.
But I get it. I also wouldn't want the episode without it, to be clear. I love shields up evasive maneuvers. I never want it to go away, but I will always sin it.
What's another one? I guess maybe Oi! Starfleet, what's the power level of this?
You've got to tell me, because that's what the law says.
Protocol
and it's exactly the information I need. And apparently I wasn't searched.
Yeah.
No one emptied my pockets.
Listen, that was pretty fun to watch. Not going to lie. Loved it. He's clearly very good at just getting out of problems, which they need to show. They need to show us that he can escape because he's very clever. But like, oi, Starfleet.
Yeah. Oi, get over here. This is a really nitpicky sin, but no, last time on Star Trek Picard, I wanted a computer voice saying last time on Star Trek The Next Generation for the previously on.
Yeah. Question. This might not be a sin, but just I guess a question that could be a sin is why not warp away? Is it because of the nebulous that they can't warp at the end?
I think
he warped to break the beam.
I don't think it's because of the nebula. I think it's because they can't outrun the ship. I'm pretty sure it's because they can't outrun the Shrike. But the nebula will put them both. It's the classic thing from the Wrath of Khan. They go into the nebula so that they're both blind, so they're on a level playing field.
Okay.
The Enterprise remains concealed in the dust cloud. Honestly, that's it. I've said what I wanted to say about the emotional stuff and Raffi kind of getting me a little bit, but overall, I think this is another well-plotted, well-paced episode, giving us what we want, setting up the story with lots of for episode 3 as well. This is 2 out of 2. Episode 3 is when Picard season 2 went sideways and then stayed sideways until episode 9. So we'll see. Episode 3 and 4 is where things can get ropey. So we will see. Ready for some predictions, or have you got any more sins?
I don't have any more. I don't have anything else. No.
Excellent. Okay, with that, let's head over to the captain's ready room. Welcome to the Captain's Ready Room, where we hear our predictions for the rest of the season and bask in our Q-like glory should anything we have predicted come true. Worf, nailed it. Picard's son, nailed it. So far, my predictions have been pretty good. Let's quickly have a look at what we said last week. I said Captain Shaw will be ordered to work with Picard and Beverly. That hasn't happened yet. Ian thinks that the Zatvash are still in Starfleet. They are still spies, not confirmed yet. Deneé thinks that Starfleet will completely collapse, so it's just down to the Titan. Hasn't happened yet. Beverly's son is a clone or an android. 90% sure that's not right.
That's probably not right. We can kill that one.
Probably not it. I'm going to keep it there, but we're kind of really skeptical. And yeah, we did predict that Worf was the handler and Picard. Jack is Picard's son. Anything you want to add this week? I have one big prediction that I'm gonna throw out there.
Ooh, I mean, is there a situation where Beverly and Picard go off into the sunset now?
No, not a chance.
Okay.
Laris.
Well, I'm just...
Dick move. Dick move. I think they'll always be close. They'll always have Paris. But it's just, I think they're...
Okay. Man, I feel like if we were really, really cautious, we could go through episode 1 and 2 and kind of write down these different things that are happening from Rafi and then figure out some predictions for like who the big bads are working for and things like that. Like they're clearly, like, we could probably go, okay, this is the big bad, behind the scenes. I mean, are we seeing that the captain, Vidic is the big bad, or is there somebody behind that person that's giving... It seems like somebody in Starfleet. It seems like they're going to probably have to just squeeze the pus out of Starfleet a little bit. I don't know.
You get another shout out to the Romulans, that Romulan terrorist, and then just the Romulans in general doing shady things.
Yeah.
So
and then we have Laris going back to something where she was going somewhere in the first episode, right?
Laris is going to like a colony somewhere to do some work. I think she's doing basically charity work, or like missionary work or something.
Yeah.
I think she's helping a Romulan colony.
Maybe they end up having to go there to figure some stuff out and talk to Laris because she knows some people. Could be an interesting thing to kind of get everybody
love to loop her back
together.
That'd
Me
be
too. I think she's wasted if she's not on screen.
Get her. My big prediction, here we go, and I'm going to lean on a trope. Vadic is going to kill somebody we love.
Shaw.
I'm not even going to predict that it's Shaw.
It's Shaw.
I think it is. I think it is as well. It's Shaw or 7 of 9. One of the two.
No.
She is going to kill somebody in episode 4 or 5. And that is going to like push... Shut up! It's going to push her into the level of uber villain. And because at the minute we have stories and we have sinister stuff. She's yet to do something to our people that makes us really, really despise her. She's got to... If we're going to have a big punchy ending, she's got to do something pretty abhorrent. And I think she's going to kill somebody we like. I think it's 7 of 9.
Yeah.
She's going to get someone's going to die. And I think it's not going to be a Attack the Titan and... Attack on Titan. It's not going to be Attack the Titan and then somebody dies. It's going to be beamed into space or at her hand.
It's brutal.
It's going to be a brutal murdering.
And if it's not, then it's doing that character a disservice that they just built up so high.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if it is Shaw, then that becomes Seven's ship.
Right? It kind of does. I'm going to dip into... I know we don't mention the chat in the show, but the chat is screaming at us, Beverly, that she's going to kill Beverly.
Kills Beverly.
Because then that weaponizes Picard and it weaponizes Jack. And it unites them together. I hope not. But again, makes sense. I don't know. It could happen.
I mean, she would very easily take Beverly to get to Jack, right? And then she'd kill Beverly because she doesn't have
Beverly
Jack.
would sacrifice herself.
But we need to understand the importance of Jack and why so many people want Jack. What does he have? What does he know that is so important that he is brought in alive somewhere?
Yeah.
So he seems to be confused about what that is. Is it something to do with his DNA? Is it something to do with something he stole one time and hid somewhere? Like, we don't know. We don't know what's going on just yet. But yeah, I can easily see Beverly being somebody who dies. I think that would suck because we just got her back. And I think that it would be like a little sucky thing that they would do is to bring her in and then murder her. Like that seems sucky. Murder, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I also want to say that please stick around for the outtakes for today's show because I want to read some of the chat's predictions because there are some fun ones.
Fucking insane predictions.
I love them.
I love it so much. I think it's very possible. Don't kill Shaw.
Oh, he's fucking dead, dude. You know he's dead. Oh, sure he is. He's a character you love to hate. It's an easy one to kick. It's an easy one to kick.
You're going to hate him. You're going to start loving him. And then they're going to kill him. All right. That's me done. I'm out. All right. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Wait, I didn't tell you my big one.
Oh, you had? I thought you were done. Sorry. Give it.
No, I have a big prediction because I think that Laura is behind it all.
My goodness, I totally forgot Law was the thing. I totally forgot Law is going to be in this series. This is how sucked into the moment I am.
Well, we know we've seen some shit in the previews. Yeah. So again, we're tainted.
We are.
But I mean, how interesting would that be that maybe the person that knows a lot about Starfleet somehow is an android?
Lore, the reason I'm hesitant about that is because we know that Lore's body is at the Daystrom Institute. So based on what Raffi said about the Daystrom Institute, he is probably one of the things that's been stolen from there. So I'm interested to know if the person that hired Vadik to get Jack is also the person that's stealing that. I still feel like there is a person that we don't know. There is another villain we don't know that has got the portal weapon, is going to get Lore, has hired Vadik to get Jack. Is there another person that is the one that's pulling all of this together? And is that going to be somebody from the past that we know that hasn't been in any of the trailers, that is nothing that we know about? Is this ace in the deck that is somebody from the past that is going to be the one that's pulling all of the strings that makes us go, what the fuck? And Vadik is just this big red herring. Big prediction, maybe.
It's Agnes. It's Borg Queen 2.
Hell, man, I'm in. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
Let's fucking go.
We're running out of bad guys. It's not Q. It's probably not the Borg Queen. There isn't really a big Romulan other than Tomalak, but he's probably not going to be it. I don't know. Don't know. Big things. Big things.
Moriarty,
big money, no whammies.
Mentioning in the chat, we saw Moriarty in the previews.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody.
I wasn't going to say this.
Who is inside the computer system, who was taken out and is somewhere else, but maybe he got plugged back in. We don't know.
If Lore is at the Daystrom Institute, I guarantee Moriarty is there as well, and he has been stolen. So I wasn't going to say it, but I think Moriarty's been stolen as well.
So we've got Lore and Moriarty have been stolen. Oh my god, this is going to be such a fun season. Okay.
It really is. So much shit's happening. I love it. Right. Okay. We love you guys. You're all the best. Appreciate you. Thank you for listening every week. Join us in the live show, Friday, 12:30ish, all of that stuff. Thanks for listening. And until next week, I am immunocompromised to bureaucracy.
And I'm going to pretend that Jarlath Carvel's quote this week is that the ship is basically a hotel now. We're just basically a hotel.
The ship is basically a hotel now. I love it. And live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening. Want to connect with the show? Our hailing frequencies are always open through captainspod@cinemasins.com. Like, comment, and subscribe on your podcast player of choice, and be sure to visit cinemasins.com.
It's fine. He can't smell my breath on a video. Like, I don't need to go brush my teeth, even though I smell like coffee. Thick, strong, no sugar, probably should be regulated coffee. It's fine. I'm fine. Look what happened when I took my clip out of my hair. What is going on right now?
You look like
I've swallowed a wave.
Yeah, like one of the medical officers from the original series, because they would always have like immensely coiffed and like wavy, incredible hair. It's very coffee.
I was just talking about drinking coffee.
You want some coffee?
Oh, I've had plenty of coffee.
You're gonna go outside and get some coffee from the store?
This is probably for the best. I decided to take a really long shower today. Instead of the just super jump in, important bits, jump out, like actually.
Tell us more.
About what?
The nose, behind the ear. What kind of, what exactly means important bits?
The parts that if they begin to smell, that people close to you learn more about you than you're ready for them to learn about you.
My counterpoint is that if they are that close to you, they are too close. If you're close enough to smell me, you are in my personal bubble. So that's a you problem. You shouldn't be violating my space.
Right. And I don't get to the point where, like, if you're in the same room, like you're 10 feet away, you smell me. That's the goal, right?
Yeah. If you can smell me from your house, then I need to shower.
Right. No, we're not talking about that.
We're not doing that.
You're not putting that in.
We'll cut it off. Okay.
You're cutting that out. That is not an outtake, Ian. Ian,
so
this is not an outtake.
No. I'll put this in so that nobody will know what we've taken out. Yeah, there we go. I'll just assume the worst.
It is the worst.
It's not the worst. You could have said far worse.
What's it for?
I'm trying to remember. There was something I was going to tell you, and it's just escaped my brain.
Is it about my accent?
Nope.
Is it about our friendship?
Yes. We need to talk.
Shit. Bollocks. Fuck. Wank. Tits.
So Josh just messaged saying, Ian, I got Mrs. Zero now listening to Captain's Pod. I know it's silly and fully understand if the answer is no, because then everyone will want to do it. But hey, if you could give her a shout out on the pod, I would be forever delighted. Can be sincere, can be silly, can be ridiculous. Whatever you may choose, no silliness. No silliness is too silly, no compliment is too sappy. Brag on me if you want. She won't hear it until the episode drops on Wednesday anyway. It's still good news that I thought I'd share that that I got an initiate into Captain's Pod. Well, Mrs. Zero, Mrs. Josh Zero, your husband is a terrible person for liking Captain Kirk.
Oh my God, Ian, shut your mouth.
He likes Captain Kirk. Like, what's it like being with somebody that likes Captain Kirk? Just imagine she's
I think
like
we should focus
being
more on the
sold
fact.
Sorry, focus on the good thing. Go for it, Ambassador.
Clearly, we have a new competition for initiation. You know, Josh Zero is in the lead, having now officially claimed Mrs. Zero. And, you know, you listening at home obviously are thinking, wait, I have 7 friends that I am invited to listen. Well, we don't know that.
Claim
so you
them.
need to do the same thing that Josh Zero is doing right now.
So this very, very nice plug has turned into an advertisement. Great.
When you say very, very nice plug, you literally called Josh Zero a dick.
Yeah, but his wife is nice, I'm sure. She'd have to be to put up with Josh. Hi, Mrs. Zero.
I wanted to say, hello, Mrs. Zero.
Go
Would you
on.
like a bowl of noodles?
You know, in that meeting yesterday, when it was like the little, I had just a little, for the emoji, it was like a little bowl of noodles. And I was like, do the
bowl of
voice!
noodles.
Do the
I
voice!
wanted to so bad. We're in a professional meeting and you drop bowl of noodles and all I can think is like,
Yep.
don't say it, Deneé. Don't say it.
Here's
don't
the
do it,
emoji.
Deneé.
We need to do a little bowl of noodles as the emoji. Do it.
My little tiny bowl of noodles.
tiny
I've just
bowl
been
of
in this
noodles.
trash bin for so long. I'm all alone.
Little bowl of noodles.
Nobody will open this bin anymore. Be here and I turn into moldy noodles.
Not until you see like a little Twix nose or Reese's nose just kind of like peek in and try to nab at it.
And that's when I strike.
Nom nom.
Ah.
Man, Freckle Rock is fucking freaky. Have
Oh,
you
it's-
watched it
it's
in your adult
terrifying.
life?
No, just the opening sequence I have because I love that song, but even the opening sequence is fucking terrifying.
So I decided to like watch this with Iris, thinking that we would have this cool like, hey, here's something I loved when I was a kid.
No.
And I am instantly teleported back to, they just build this suspension and they use the music so intelligently. And it's so scary. And Iris is just like, ah!
What are you showing me, mother?
She does not like it. She's not interested in it. And I totally understand.
Bum,
So
bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 ba-da, ba, bum, 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 bum. Tell us about your new mic arm thing. Because you finally got a replacement for it.
Ian, you know
Finally.
this story. You
course I do.
know where this is going and you're
Yes, I do.
setting me up.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so listen, here's what happened. So this little section of the mic broke a long time ago, probably
Watch us
2
wreck
years.
the mic. Mm-hmm.
And so my dad drilled a hole through it and added this little key thing here and just like cranked it in. So I was like, that's really nice of my dad. It didn't
Crank it.
it fixed one of several problems, but not the main one, right? Because I can't actually like adjust it. It just sort of hangs there limply, right? So that's when I got really smart. I use, rubber bands to hang the microphone and be able to kind of shift it where I want it. It works.
It does the thing.
I've had to replace the rubber bands probably 4 or 5 times because they eventually lose their elasticity. So,
Mhm. Makes sense. Yeah.
they're
It kinda
cheap. It's fine.
Makes me think of the Titan. Like that isn't a new Titan. Like that is Riker's original Titan, but it's been refitted. So I'm like, it's a new ship because they've replaced the nacelles, they've replaced the hull. Most of the insides are different. And I'm like, is it really the same ship?
So I decided I was going to go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Pull the
I
trigger.
got paid. I'm like, this is a good purchase. I'm going to do it. So I just went on to Amazon and bought it. And then it came in the mail and it is the wrong one.
Oh, no.
It is far too big.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't. Now the problem is if I tried to use it, the microphone would just flop around. So
Which is what
floppy and-
you've got now.
yeah, in a whole like a horrible way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to send it back and get another one. But honestly, I'm just like, well, maybe it's a sign I should just remain the derpy mic girl,
Derpy mic girl.
And today I thought, and one of the benefits of having these is the fun music you get to play. But now my fun music isn't even fun anymore. It's just this derpy sort of sad rubber band sound. It used to actually sound like music.
Yeah,
Anyway.
like a hillbilly guitar. Can confirm the chat thinks it's annoying. We do have one correction, which I'm going to put in the outtakes, not in the show, because fine.
What?
The LaForge that we see on the bridge, Aladra, is not actually LeVar Burton's daughter. I made a boo-boo. So that is not his daughter, but Mika
I was wondering
Burton
about that. I know that when we haven't seen her yet.
No, we haven't seen her yet. So, sorry, the LaForge on the bridge is LaForge's daughter, but not LeVar Burton's real-world daughter, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that is his in-show daughter. So just clearing that up. I apologise. Shall we start recording the show?
I'm already recording.
The actual show, you dick.
Dick.
Dick. Holy fucking shit, I fucking love this show. It's so fucking well written. Oh,
Worf. Yeah!
yes! Let's go!
Let's fucking go.
Kill some people, Worf. Let's go. Fuck them up.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Bye-bye, Ferengi. Get it, Worf.
Okay, handler.
That
Oh, my God.
was awesome.
Commercial. That was fucking crazy
was.
cool.
Slice
As soon
him
as I
up.
saw the weapon come through the chest, I should save it for the show. 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 I would have saved it for the show. Slab.
Slab.
Slab. Oh, cute. I'm gonna give the everybody listen up.
Everybody listen. You can talk, but you may not be responded to. So
You can
just
talk if you want to.
you know.
There needs to be someone that has a Twitter handle
Yeah.
that's Jarlath Carvel. And then the explanation is this did take a lot of imagination. That'd be
Yes.
such a funny
That's the bio.
account.
That's and it's just a picture of Jack Crusher.
Yes.
Right, back to you guys. You're the best. Let's do some questions.
Oh, man. We have Link. Still no Elnor. What the fuck?
Still no Aelnor. It's a big one. It's a big one.
All right, here's one from Josh. Oh, I got it. Worf still holds a flame for Deanna Troi, who is in trouble because Riker isn't actually Riker. So, like Dr. Nick says, he isn't working for Starfleet. He's investigating something strange in the neighborhood for Deanna. Does that break your brain, Captain?
Riker isn't Riker. I mean, unless he's Thomas Riker, his evilish transporter twin. It's possible, but that would be weird. Riker got duplicated in a transporter accident, and so his duplicate is now off around. He was working with the Maquis, and now we don't really know. He was in prison. We're not too sure what he's doing, but his name's Thomas.
You're serious?
Serious? Yeah, 100%. Real trick.
Holy shit. Slab says, calling it now, Alexander shows up working for Worf at some point. I fucking hope so.
Possible. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Zink says, interesting how Captain Honeybunny knows Picard is now synthetic. That can't be common knowledge. She knew that Picard was synthetic. She knew Shaw's background. She knows all kinds of stuff. Obviously, she knows lots about Jack. I'm wondering where she's getting her information.
I think this just links into her having access to something or someone. Like maybe the person that is sending her works for Starfleet. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Evil Admiral from the past.
Here's one from Josh. Oh, speaking of noises Deneé makes, I was very impressed by the clicky language thing that she did last week. How the hell?
Oh, yeah, with aliens, yeah.
Wait, I can do it. I can't do it now. I'm trying.
A growly. It's like a growly, clicky noise.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have it.
Scared it away, Josh.
I, like the beloved Patrick Stewart, have aging vocal cords. I'm going to blame it on my aging vocal cords.
Got it. Ancient, withering vocal cords.
Hold on here. Nope, still
No, it's going rehydrate. Oh, no, that's pretty good.
I did it. I don't have water, man. I forgot water.
There we
God
fucking
damn
go.
it. Here's a fun one from Sarah for predictions. Jack Crusher's like, what, 20? I think he's going to end up dating Riker's daughter, and then Riker will say, what are your intentions with my daughter?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's great because that's a spoiler. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Spoiler.
No, something I was about to say was a spoiler for an episode we may watch, so quit it. Not doing it. Oh, yeah, Zinkso said, referring to Worf, presumably he was just hanging around in the system ready to step in when it all went sideways. Like, amazing how close at hand he was to Raffi to kick all of the ass. Deus Ex Warfina.
Deus Ex Machina.
Nick says, I'm calling it now. Worf is also not working for Section 31. Raffi only thinks she's working for Starfleet. She's been working for Worf, who is in the private sector. So not working for Starfleet at all, and she's been double-crossed. That would be interesting. Very interesting. Lied to and betrayed. I like that prediction.
Worf is actually the big bad, and she's working for the conspiracy leader, center of the thing, the whole time.
The whole thing's a lie.
How would a show about the Titan do? Like, what would it do? I think is Link's question.
I
think it would do well.
I think it would do well. I think it's back to Star Trek The Next Generation, but you're on a different ship.
Beep, bop, beep, 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 beep.
Well, who knows? Maybe this is setting up a new Enterprise show. Like if we get the Enterprise F or J or whatever's coming, and maybe it sets up a new Enterprise show. Maybe Shaw gets promoted at the end to be captain of the new Enterprise. Josh says, could you imagine if there was a crew member who kept taking over the ship once a season, but is still a beloved character? Cough Data, cough cough Spock, and I'm going to add cough cough Ambassador.
I didn't do anything! Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes, making bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what I'm gonna make, bacon pancakes. Do we have a clip of that? Let's make it happen.
Now.
Hold on.
Yeah, pancakes. We do love pancakes. My mum made me some incredible. They were better than my pancakes, Deneé. They tasted better.
Stop it.
No, I kid you not. They
Don't
were
be a
better.
dick.
I was like, oh
Quit it.
man, my mum makes good pancakes.
No.
So good.
That's not true.
So fucking good. I had 4 of them.
It's not. You can't say that.
4. She had 2 pans on the go.
Stop it.
Incredible.
So, Terry, thank you for listening to the show.
He does not listen to the show.